Hi folks, I'm Gary from Handmade Well Made. Today we're going to be doing a clear coat epoxy pour on this table that I made months and months ago. We're going to do an epoxy pour on this table that I made months and months ago. Due to circumstances I've never got around to finishing it, so today we're going to do a clear coat pour on it. So we'll run through the mixing of the epoxy and then we'll get it poured. We'll just talk about the steps as we go through that. But the first process that we're going to be doing today is we're going to mix up the epoxy. I'm using dye epoxy, which is a 2-to-1 ratio. I like to use it, I've used it for years because price wise I don't think it can be beaten. It's from Germany, but it's a really good clear resin. So what we're going to do now is do the mix. Right, so we get the cup on and we'll tire it back to zero. Because this is a 2-to-1 ratio, whatever I put in of the A, I just simply put in half of the B. Right, we'll call it 300 grams of A. So that means that I need 150 of B. So we're looking for 450. Well, we got 460, but it'll be okay. So it recommends on the instructions that you mix this for between 3 and 5 minutes. I personally prefer to just mix it until there's no cloudiness left, and then you know 100% that it's completely and utterly mixed. Another good bit of advice is once you've mixed it, is to pour it into another cup, and then any of the A and B that might have not been mixed together on the sides will definitely not go into the mix, because anything that's not mixed will completely and utterly ruin your piece. So yeah, we're just going to keep mixing this until I can see no cloudiness whatsoever. Once I've got it mixed, I'll give a close-up to the camera so you can see how clear it is. It's always wise as well to heat your A and your B up. I haven't shown it on the video, but it's always good to have it at a nice temperature before you start, because then it just helps the mixing process. It can be very viscous if it's cold. I tend to put it in front of a little electric heater about 10 foot away, but you want to get it up to at least 20-21 degrees. So a little bit more than room temperature. Try and keep your mixing slow as well, because the more vigorous you mix, the more bubbles you introduce into the mix. And it does naturally degas by itself, but the slower you go, the less bubbles you're going to introduce, and that's always a good thing. So we're ready to do the pour now. It's imperative before you do the pour that the piece is perfectly level. If it's not level, then you'll either end up swamping it off, or you'll just end up with a really deep part in one part and then really thin in the other. So it's imperative that you check it on every single angle to make sure that you've got a completely flat piece. I don't know if the camera can see that, but that's 100% level all the way around. So basically we can do the pour in full faith that we're going to get a flat surface. So the idea is we're going to do the pour on this side. So get this 100% flat, and then we'll flip it over. Might not be on camera, we'll flip it over and then we'll get the other side done, and then we'll show you a clip of the finished table. This table is inspired by Terry Pratchett's Discworld, so it's going to sit on top of an elephant, but you'll see that afterwards. So we can get on with the pour now. I don't like to rub, like use brushes or anything when I'm doing the resin, because I like to be messy. So we're going to stick some gloves on, we're going to pour it, and just going to squidge about in it for a bit. So what we're looking at here is a full cover, so we want it so it fully covers the top, and then we're going to get it so it's coming down the sides, so it's going to be fully encapsulated all the way around. So the idea is we're just going to pour into the centre, and then we're going to smudge it around. You always need to make sure as well before you pour that your piece is completely clear from any debris or dust or anything like that. So as you can see just from the initial pour how much it's cleaned it up. So now we just do some rubbing. So keep it on to start with. So you want to just get full coverage of the top surface. Oh, got resin inside my glove. Brilliant start. So then we can just start smudging it all in. If you've got low pieces, it's always going to want to go to the lowest part. So there's a little bit of a dip in the centre of this one. So therefore, it's going to want to go to the centre. So now we've got it all the way on the top. We can start smudging some down the sides. Resin likes to follow resin. So wherever resin's touching, it will automatically flow there. So again, ensuring that every single part is covered. I've actually taped the bottom of this piece off, so there will inevitably be some drips that come whenever you pour resin. So the idea of putting the tape on the bottom is the little beads that collect on the bottom of the surface can just be pulled off, a lot less sanding. So the idea now, we've got it fully covered. We're happy with the coverage down the sides. As you can see in places it's dripping, which is a perfect situation. So now we just need to put some flame over the top of it, which will bust any residual bubbles. The degassing gets rid of most of them, but just literally a pass over. You don't want to hang about in one spot because resin does scorch. So you want to just casually move over, making sure to always move. Right, so this is just getting the little micro bubbles that are, as you can see, the flow starts to increase as it heats. So, and this resin, as in with most resins, is self-leveling.